Hi guys, welcome to another Python tutorial. In this video we will be learning about functions in Python. We'll be learning how to write functions, why you need functions or what you use functions for. So quickly, I'm just going to open up my code right using my command prompt. I'm going to open up my code. So I'm using this code.py file still, and then I open this up in my IDE, okay, in my Visual Studio Code IDE. Now I've gone ahead to write functions as a comment right here, okay. So I'll just save that. So we're talking about functions. Now, what are functions? Functions is just a piece of code that has a name and it does something, okay. So a function is a piece of code that actually performs a certain task, and I'll show you what I mean. Supposing you want to add two numbers, okay, so you might simply just say input. So you might simply create a variable. Supposing you want to add two numbers, so you might create a variable and call this the first number, and the first number is going to be like an input, right? And then you have another variable, second number, and you have another input, right? And then you can print something here that simply just adds first number plus second number. Okay, so you save this. So you have this simple what you call it now, code, okay. First number is an input. First number is a variable that is expecting an input from the user. The second number is also a variable expecting an input from the user. And then you have the print first number plus second number. If you run this code, you will get an error, or you will not get an error. You will get two numbers concatenated. Why? Because you have to use integer to convert it. So I'm just simply going to do that right here and say int, okay. So I'm converting first number to integer. This has to be in small letters, guys. Okay, so I'll convert both numbers to integer before I do the calculation. So this is what is going to lead us to functions, okay. So I've saved this. Now if I call up my command prompt, okay, my cmd, and I just clear this and I run the file by typing python code.py, right? If I run this file, it's going to be waiting for input. So I'll have 5, right? I will click enter. I'll have 5, and it will print the addition of both numbers, okay. So I have this code working perfectly well. Now a function will allow me to write this code to write a code that I will be able to give a name, and most times it can accept arguments, okay. It can accept arguments, and then I can reuse this code over and over and over again. Let me show you what I mean. Now let's go to functions, okay. So I can easily delete this. I'm going to still write a function that does this same task, okay, that I can reuse over and over again. How do you write a function, or as it's called, how do you define a function? In Python, what you just need to do is use the def keyword followed by the name of the function. For example, add, okay, then followed by brackets, right? So you put a colon there and you are done with the function definition. When you hit your enter key, you will see that the ID is going to indent the next line, telling you that anything that comes under this is going to be under this function. So if I say just print a statement here, for instance, just print hello world. That is what I want this function to do, right? Just print hello world to my CMD or my console, right? So the next thing I want to do is actually save this and run this function. Now if I save this and run this function, nothing is going to happen. Let me just show you that truly if I run this function, nothing will be printed. Even though I said print hello world to console, nothing is printed. Why? It's because when you write a function, you have to call the function before it works. Okay, so if you don't call the function, nothing happens. Control S. This is how you call the function. Just call the name of the function, which is add in this case, and your opening and closing brackets. So I've called the function. I'm going to run this again and hit enter, and you can see I have hello world bring printed to screen. So this is not what we want. We actually want a function where you can call and it prints the addition of two numbers. So how do we do that, and how do we write a function that does that? Now inside here we need to give the function the arguments. Okay, so the argument is going to be the first number will be represented with I, then comma the second number will be represented with J. So this function is expecting two numbers, the first number and the second numbers. Okay, now what do we want to do? We want to print the addition of both numbers. So we want to print I plus J right here. So if I save this and I run this function, it's going to give me an error because right now the function is expecting two variables and we have nothing here, or two arguments rather, and we have nothing currently running it. So if I just put 6 and comma, then so I'll save that, and now this is the function. This function will run and print 6 plus 10 and print that to my console. So if I open this up and I call Python, and you see you have 16 right there. If you want to use this function over and over again, all you simply need to do is come here and say add once again and do 5 right plus 4. If you want to use it again, just come down again and do add 7 plus 8. You save that and then you go back to your CMD, right? Clear that, you run the code, and I'm getting an error. Add missing one required positional argument J. So let's check that and see where it's missing the required argument. Type error. Okay, sorry, line 5. Oh, okay, sorry. So I have a problem on, so you need to learn how to read your error messages, right? So I guess I'm a little dizzy because it's very late in the night. So I have 5 plus 4 there instead of giving it like two arguments. Okay, so I'm supposed to put 5 comma 4 here, and I'm supposed to put 7 comma 8. So I'm going to do Control S. Type error is that it needs two arguments and it only got one argument, and it gave me an error message which I've resolved. I'm going to just clear this error message using CLS and run this code once again, and see I have the correct output right now. So this is what functions is all about, really. This is how you define functions, okay, and this is how you can add arguments to your function and have it do something for you. All right, so the very last thing I want to talk about functions, which you have to understand, is the fact that you can use the return keyword when dealing with functions. Okay, now what do I mean by return keyword? Okay, so let me just show you. Now if you do this, you can simply just do return, right? This is the return keyword. So just return I plus J. Okay, and I'll save that. Now when you do return I plus J, what this means is that you can actually save the return whatever is being returned from the function, you can save it in a new variable. So I'm going to call that variable var variable, and then I'm saying add. Okay, add 5 plus 6, right? I'm adding 5 plus 6, 5 comma 6, not plus, guys, because it's a function. I'm adding 5 and 6, and I'm saving the return statement. Note there is no print, but I have a return statement, which means that the value of I plus j will be returned into this function, and I can access the returned value and save it in a variable and use it for some mathematical expression, or use it later on in the code. So if I return that into var, I can say, okay, I can print something here by accessing the return value. So remember our string formatting. Okay, remember our string formatting, and I can just say the value returned, is, and I use my curly brackets, is var, right? And I'm going to save this. So remember, we use string formatting like this, right? Save that, and let's run it and see exactly what we have. So come down, just clear that once again so you can see it properly, and Python. So I have the value returned is 11, which is what I'm printing to console. Now notice that I'm using the return statement var in this string formatting. So that is that about function. What you can do simply really is practice more on functions. Try and write a function that does one or two things, different things, and you get a grasp of what functions are. Now in the course of this Python training, we'll be using lots and lots of functions, okay, and you would learn more about the functions. Okay, so thank you for watching, guys. In the next video, we will start talking about loops and conditionals. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you for watching.